And then so
yes,
you got off stage.
I was taken off stage, almost as if I was being escorted off, out of the premises, because as performers, we sit backstage, we wait for our chance to get in, perform, and then we find a table right at the back somewhere. So I had to walk the whole room. Now everyone looking at me thinking, what did he do? What did he do wrong?
What did he say?
Even I was asking myself, what did I do? I even ended up asking the guy who was doing the booking, did I? He said, I don't know.
So that was the end of...
It wasn't the end, it was a happy ending. It wasn't the end. So I went to find a table, I sat down and I thought strongly about what happened. In the middle of that, one of the princesses had to go on stage after since, I think, 8, 9 years old. She performed, she sang, and then after her, another princess was supposed to go on stage to sing for the king. So whilst they were looking for the second princess to go on stage, they were like, you know what, we can find an item to entertain us in the meantime. You know, sometimes how it happens when you're a comedian, you are always that guy. Let's find an item. So the MC was like, you know, when the MC is a government official, you know how they always come can we find an item that's gonna entertain us in the Mdura? Where are you, my brother? So I stood.
So you had to go back to stage. Oh, yes. You had to go back on stage.
I had to go back on stage
and finish your set.
And finish my set. So I walked again, fortunately to a huge round of applause, and that told me that the people still wanted me. So even if I had done something wrong, the people still. So I got on stage, and then now I'm thinking to myself, do I continue with the set? Do I start all over again? And I was like, you know what, guys, before we were interrupted, I was here, and they started laughing, and I went on, and then...
That's the thing when you perform for audiences that are, number one, not there to see comedy, and that are not familiar with how this comedy thing works. I remember once at a corporate gig for a government department. I went on stage, I did my hour, they were happy, then I went to sit down, and as soon as I sat down, they said, excuse me, the director, the general, has just walked in. Can you please go back on stage and do it again? Like, this is not like music. It is not music. It's not like I'm going back to sing the song again.
With the same lyrics as they are. I've
just given you an hour. And also they like to use the terms where they're like, the DJ would like this. And can you introduce the DJ? I mean, one time I thought it was the DJ.
The VP.
I'm like, we are about to dance. The DJ is there. It was the director general.
We do not know these people.
But our people are growing. I like the growth with the industry here, comedy. It's really good. And well done on Mr. Kambule's. South Africans really love you. And everyone feels sorry for you.
Everyone feels sorry for me because I'm getting messages from people saying, you know, we really pray that you get the girl. And some people are like, shame Dogotela. You know, they are feeling...
It must be nice to be a doctor. It's nice to play these professions.
It is so nice. You don't want it to stop.
Yes.
You do not want it to stop.
And where do you see your comedy career taking you in the future? What's the big dream?
The big dream for me is... The most imminent one for me right now. It's to make it internationally, because I do not want to end up as the comedian who is funny in his country.
Yes.
You know.
You've done very well. You did well in Cape Town.
Thank you.
You've did well. You've done Durban. You've done Johannesburg a few times. You've done very well.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So for me, it's taking it outside and just showing people that, you know, because I also want to teach people, you know, things about the country, because a lot of people confuse us for Switzerland
because of Swaziland,
of Swaziland, and they think we are just a very tiny nation of 100 people, so crowded in a small country. So for me, I really want to leave a footprint of the country, not just myself.
You're doing a good job of it. And in October you're going to London, which is a big thing. You're going to perform in London. That must be exciting for you.
That is very exciting for me because even before I started doing comedy, that's one place I have always wanted to go to. But now I've got more reason to go there because I'm going there for the one thing that I love the most. And I can't wait to tell my local people that I'll be in London and
nice.
Seeing them there and greeting them in Eswatini. It's really, no one has done it before. No one has done
it. And how do your parents take it? Especially you've gone to university, you've studied, and I know education, especially university education, is a big thing here in Africa. Parents really pride themselves. They start praying louder in church once they have
yes.
a child that's graduating. Bless our children who are graduates and this and this. So how did they take it? Because they don't know about comedy.
Yeah, firstly, thank you for asking me that question.
Battery's dying.
Yeah, why is the universe against us?
Battery nengalo zam, by the way.
Okay, we can't help you, Benga.
People.
Oh, I'm not. Are you gonna ask it again? I'm gonna just.
Shall we ask it again? Okay.
Yeah, ask that piece again.
Please.
We ready? And how did your parents take you when you tell? And how was it when you told your parent? No, that's not how I posted.
How did your parents take it when you told them?
And how did your parents take it when you told them that you are now going to do this comedy thing? Because I know in our, especially African culture, education is a big thing. It's a huge thing to have a graduate in the family. I don't know much about your family, but I assume you might even be the first one to graduate from university. And now you want to go and do comedy.
I never told them. That was my strategy. I'm not gonna tell them. You know, I love this question, and I feel like I'm not often asked this question, and it's the one question I love answering, because as Black African people, like you say, we believe so much in the education system that if you want to be successful financially and otherwise, that is the way to go.
You must go to school, go to university, which I do recommend, but I don't recommend the fact that you now must work for Bus John.
You don't have to. And so what I did was, after university, I am the oldest son, a family of 2 boys, me being the oldest son, and 5 girls. You know how we are from a very patriarchal society where they believe so much in men. Men must do that, men must do this,
men must not cry.
Men must not cry. And then, you know, having 5 sisters, there were less expectations from them. They had more expectations from me, and that was graduating and getting an office job.
Yes.
So I decided when I started doing comedy that I'm gonna try out comedy whilst doing my 8 to 5 job, whilst, you know, at the same time doing comedy. To them, it was a hobby.
Yes.
Yeah, don't find comment. You know, when we are but then the job. And then I left my job, and I never told them. I just said my contract was not renewed.
When they were like, light.
Oh my God.
We're losing light. It's becoming darker now. Just so you know.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God. What was I talking about when I said, oh my God?
You told your parents that your contract was not
Yes, they were like, oh my God, son, we wish that you find another job. And then I stopped looking for a job. I started doing comedy full time, and I told them that I'm putting in my applications. You know, for a full year I was doing comedy, and they kept asking, what about the job? Are you still looking for a job? And then at some point I was like, Babe, Mage, can you please stop praying for me to get a job? Start praying for me to do well at this thing that I'm currently doing. And then they started seeing me on billboards.
Were you not helping them with the money?
I was. But to them, still, it was not about the money.
It was about you having a good job.
Yes.
Working for a certain big company with an international
job security.
Yes.
Pensionable. all those things. And I was like, I want to be the first in my family to do something other than what is expected of me. So I decided no. But now they do believe in this job. Every time before a show, they will always call, even when I'm outside the country. We are praying for you.
Oh, that is very good.
Every time.
But they must be so proud of you because your success is very evident. Like when we come into Swaziland, the first billboard we see has your face on it. You are the one welcoming us to Swaziland. And you've since become an ambassador of quite a few things.
Yes.
Ambassador for MTN.
MTN and World Vision.
World Vision.
Yes.
That's big.
It is very big, and for them now it's easy to even talk about their son. They cannot explain this because they come from a different generation. They can't really explain what their son does, but they are able to talk about their son.
He's on TV, he's on radio, he's on papers, so they can say he's famous.
He's famous, or our son that is taking care of us.
Oh,
that's the part that I love. For them to say, you know what, son, we may not understand precisely what you do, but it's changing our lives.
Oh, that's good.
So for me, I'm trying to change not only my family's perception of what I do, which is outside of my education, but also I want to change the perception of every Swazi parent for a child to raise up their hand in class and say, I want to be a comedian. Because teachers have this tendency of asking, like who? I want the child to say, like Mdura. And I want the teacher to say, okay, no, we understand, you know.
And what would you tell that child that has that burning dream of becoming a comedian? What advice would you give them?
Love it. Don't go into it because you love what it might do for you. Because some people love the idea of being a comedian and appearing in the paper and performing for sold-out audiences. That is not comedy. There are other things behind comedy that need you to love this, so that when you are going through those tough times, when maybe there are no audiences or there are no finances to put together shows, you need to say, I'm doing this because I love it. So love it. Be passionate about it.
Okay, and last question. What would you tell your 15-year-old self?
My 15-year-old self. I would tell my 15-year-old self that what you want to do right now is not what is going to be your career tomorrow. Because when I was 15, I wanted to be a footballer professionally. I was very good at it, but I didn't love it. I was good at it and I thought it was going to be my career because I'm good at it. But it's not about, because we do not choose what we are good at. It just happens and we find ourselves in that mix, but we can choose what we love. So I would tell myself that, you know, Mdura, just because you are good at it, doesn't mean you're going to make it through this.
Okay. Any other question that you've always wanted to be asked and nobody has bothered to ask you?
What keeps me going in an industry that is so small in a country where they believe it's not going to work and it's never been done before?
And what's the answer to the question?
It is the fact that I know that I am not doing this for myself. My success can change someone's story right now. It can rewrite someone's story to say, I saw Mdura doing it out of nothing. I saw Mdura coming out of a very modest family without any luxurious background, doing it in a career where people said it can't be done. So even if I don't want to be a comedian, I just want to be something else that people do not approve of. I can do it like Mdura did it with comedy. There was never an existing career.
And like Zoda Abantu is doing in South Africa.
Exactly. And that is true. People may look at it and say, we are shy, but she's the only one doing that.
And she's getting the paycheck.
That's the bottom line. That's important. Not how you make it, what you make. So that's the one question that I've always wanted to be asked.
Okay, thank you very much. We wish you the best of luck with your career. I'm going to put your details so that people can follow you and check your journey, because you have done well and I am very proud of you. And keep doing what you're doing and keep writing and keep doing whatever makes you funny. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Was this the perfect interview?
This was our perfect interview. And action.